Snow White has flopped, getting just 43 million at the box office. This is down from their predictions of 45 to 55 million, which were down from their earlier predictions of 65 to 85 million. To put Snow White into perspective, that's $34 million less than Joker 2, but with a bigger budget by $70 million.
Very well.
The thing is, though, the media use this as an excuse to make puns out of it. Oh, it poisoned the box office. Poisoned 43 million. It was a sleepy 43. Sleepy 43 million. I'm surprised nobody said it made Disney feel grumpy. Although maybe that's because he was CGI. If he was played by a small child, they'd be feeling grumpy then. The issue is, like The Acolyte, the media seem to have taken this flop personally. The press have been losing their minds to the point where they're breaking down the voting jurisdictions of people that went to see the movie. Are you blue or are you red who went to see it? Now, it might just be that celebrities can't understand why the movie flopped because they actually loved it. Although then again, when you look like that, it's probably 50-50. He fell asleep there anyway. I thought it was great. He just dreamt his own movie. It's not as if he would have had trouble sleeping in those virtually empty theatres. Rachel Zegler even posted a video on Instagram where the camera pans and there's no one in the cinema. Even Anthony Mackie could turn up to cinemas where people were there, and he had cinema roofs collapse that didn't injure anyone because there was barely anyone in the pissing cinema. Just two people, a man and his girlfriend, were inside the theatre at the time. Disney making trash is saving lives. But Deadline's article is interesting in many different ways, because for a start, it doesn't go the direction you'd think it would. You would expect the story to be, oh, look at these blue areas, so many people went to see it, the movie was so popular compared to those bigots. This movie would have been successful if it wasn't for the bigots. They can't say that story though, because that isn't reality. That means we've got to change tack. Always remember, with statistics, it's not about the truth, it's about how you frame them. And you can frame it whichever way you want. So on the one hand, our ideology is amazing, because all of the people love it, and those bigots despise it. And if you switch the numbers round, and suddenly it's red counties that over-index, well, that just means there's no red theatre blockade due to any perceived controversies over Snow White. In fact, it must be the opposite, as red counties perform better than they normally would for a film of this size. If anything, that proves that the bigots love Snow White. They love you destroying the original source material, and they love you racially discriminating against them. It's their favourite thing.
It is a minority. It's such a minority.
It's a tiny bunch of little whinging f***ers who are on the wrong side of history, and they'll all go away soon.
And that means you should continue to do more of it. Because earlier in the article, they give the explanations that I would, that generally overall tickets go one way than the other because they're all concentrated in cities, and so you just shove more theatres into those regions, and you'll have people of all stripes travelling to them. But when the numbers go the other way round, and they suddenly over-index, well, that's where we have to flip the script. We still want to talk about our ideological purposes, so Latina and Hispanic markets like Dallas, San Antonio, and Phoenix, they all overperformed. And then they go, that's interesting because everybody despised Rachel's casting, and then Rachel came out and just attacked people. F the orange man, anyone that supports him should never know peace. But do you know? It over-indexed anyway, and there was no blockade. Their argument is essentially you should continue doing what we want you to, because that will boost the minority audiences and not decrease the other ones. Those idiots will go anyway. We did everything we could to them, and those idiots still over-indexed. This seems to be a standard download, as Anthony Mackie said something similar. But now you can't connect to people who don't look like you. It's not about connecting so much to an emotion or an idea. It's more so about connecting to people who look like you. I think this is monumental. He means because you can connect to people who look like you. Because the people who go and see Marvel movies will never say, I'm not going to see that because there's a black guy in it. But he doesn't expect that from everybody else. And that means you'll broaden your audience, and you can give everybody something to be excited about. Representation's important. Not for you. No, I didn't mean you, did I? No, sit down. No, you're going to watch it anyway. And that argument is used to leverage the fact that despite Disney's attempt to put its best foot forward with diversity, many corporations, including Disney, are rolling back their initiatives and policies out of fear of orange, essentially saying that's not required, and if you just hold in there when he's gone, you can go back to being a racist slag.
A total slag.
Because all it'll do is increase your profitability, despite clear evidence to the contrary. And this is the problem with lies, damn lies, and statistics. The moment your movie flops, any statistics from it are null and void unless you're trying to work out why people didn't go, not why people went. You scared off the majority of your audience, your product failed. You need to work out why those people didn't go, not why the idiots who saw it. And it's one of the reasons that all of these numbers in the articles, they're very weird. They aren't sales. These aren't number of people. They're all percent, because with actual numbers, it's far harder to hide that you're comparing apples with oranges. Or other effects that one of the reasons that Red Counties likely saw the film more, because it's their IP. It's a traditional IP. It's one that they would have grown up with, that aligns with their values, and so it meant more to them.
Now you wash the dishes, tidy up the room. You clean the fireplace, I'll use the broom.
The problem with something like Snow White is it doesn't appeal to anybody. I'm sure there's some lunatics out there, we've already found them, to where the virtue signaling matters more to them than the actual reality. If I was his age, I'd just tell you whatever you wanted to hear as well. What are those young whippersnappers doing? Being racist? Kids today. I don't understand them, I don't. But the problem is, one side doesn't like the movie because it's evil, and the other side doesn't like it because something wrong. Oh, we will preach that we want all of this stuff. Snow White is the ideological crescendo of Disney. When the BBC are complaining that it's too political for them, that it's the closest a Disney princess film has got to paraphrasing the Communist Manifesto, you've gone too far. And so, well, places like Disney will come out and be desperate to defend the politics of it. That's why they're breaking down blue versus red state intentions, something they don't see with other movies. When Thor Love and Thunder failed, you never found where they were breaking down people by RGB. But it matters to them because it's a political symbol for their ideology, and they know it. So they're desperate to go, no, it'll still make profit, we promise.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
But where one side values tradition, morality, essentially plays into the biological values of how we evolve and male instinct, the other side cares about feelings. I need to feel good at all times, do whatever makes me feel good, and me feeling good is what matters more than anything else. It's all based around feelings, female instinct. The issue with that is, any logic of your propaganda actually doesn't matter. They will say they believe it. They can convince themselves mentally that they believe all of this stuff. Oh, it really matters that she's preaching about equality. But when they watch the movie, they will find it as unfulfilling as everybody else, because it doesn't appeal to their feelings. It's playing to their conscious, logical mind, but not their emotional instinct. You made a movie about Snow White making everyone equal in the kingdom and giving them apple pies, but you undercut any of the heroism, the prince, her needing to be saved by the more dominant masculine prince. You just made her get with scum for no real reason, and it felt really tacked on to the movie.
What I care about is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil.
So what you ended up with is giving people what they logically asked for, but not what they instinctually desire. And, well, we know what people instinctually desire. There are an infinite amount of articles about the femtinitists and what they say they want versus what they actually do and want. I am one, but I depend on my boyfriend. I'm mentally ill and jobless. Well, I mean, duh. They tend to go together. Can you be tinnitus, but want a man to be dominant? I am tirelessly femme, yet very attracted to dominant and aggressive men. Does me liking to be dominated make me less of a femme? I'm tinnitus who enjoys being dominated. I'm femme, but what I desire runs counter to my convictions. Is it okay for femmes to want to be submissive? And of course, their never-ending love, desire, and sheer attraction to The Handmaid's Tale. Something which is so stereotypical because they're basically the entire audience. You have articles begging them to stop watching, as it runs counter to everything they preach. The conscious mind wants one thing, but the evolutionary instinct wants something very different. And you can appeal all you want to the logical things people say they want in a movie, but if you don't satisfy the feelings as if they've gained something from watching it, they're not going to like the movie, and they don't like the movie.
This king, as benevolent as he was still a colonizer.
That's why they're not even going to see it themselves, even though it's the epitome of everything they say they want. That's why you have the articles going, well, we can't deny that Zegler may have impacted the show. Really, it's just the fact that there is a lack of demand for the IP. And the actresses just weren't as popular as Ariana Grande or Cynthia Erivo as they brought less people in. And no amount of cope will change this. No amount of Rachel Zegler posting, this is the #1 movie in the world. Like, well, technically, yes. But if you missed all of your projections and won't make a profit, does it matter whether you're #1 or #5? That's probably not a question I should ask Rachel Zegler, as her movies don't seem to make profit anyway. This is something she's used to. I'm the best failure of the week. As yet, it did come #1 at the domestic box office, but second place came in at 10% of your numbers. You only came in #1 because you had no competition at all. Well, I mean, except Alto Nights that also released this week. But then again, I think that had a budget of $45 million. And also, it was kind of in competition with The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, which had been out for 15 weeks and almost lost to it. It's not exactly stiff competition for getting the world #1. Then again, Rachel is such a strong woman, she probably doesn't care. As she said, behind every strong woman is
a colonizer.
herself. But with a bob. Yes, behind every strong woman is herself, but worse. I'm just as insufferable, but I've made myself look uglier. Kind of the key there, isn't it? For Snow White, you needed to not be a strong woman. You need to be an actual woman, good at Saved by the Prince, and then you clean for people. Yeah, you'd think you despise it, but you would have pulled in all those Handmaid's Tale viewers, I'm telling you.
I'll keep house for you. Wash and sew and sweep and cook.
And that's not helped by Rachel Zegler, who, it's a very interesting comment, actually, given the contents of what's in the movie.
I close my eyes and see the girl I'm meant to be.
Including one of my most hated songs about manifesting.
They say all you have to do to make your wish come true is let it
echo, echo, echo back to you.
Your voice will carry through and bring that dream to you.
Was gifted very good cheekbones from God.
I mean, okay, it's genetics. It's not like he's handing out tickets or anything, but where are you going with this?
Which is something I thank him for constantly.
Do you? I mean, I don't want to comment about how often Rachel is on her knees, but it just doesn't sound like from her next comments that she's actually thanking God for them.
When I was a kid, I used to manifest having cheekbones and dimples, and
she got both. She definitely has cheekbones. Otherwise, she'd have a very weird face. I don't even know what a person would look like without cheekbones. You have a problem with manifesting, though. I mean, if God gave them to you, what exactly did you change? You already had them in your genetics. And you're like, no, me saying it into the world is what made it happen.
Your voice will carry through and bring that dream to you.
Are you thanking God or yourself here?
Keep manifesting, ladies.
Yes, keep manifesting, ladies. Because now your face isn't determined by genetics or God or anything else in your environment, what you eat, your diet. No, it's because you said it. Because you put it out into the world and then it echoed back to you. Rachel believing in manifesting explains so much about her behavior. Why I hated it in the movie. Manifesting is the idea that if you just say what you want into the world and believe in it enough, it'll happen. It removes all of your agency from your own life, as now it's just the universe acting upon you. This is a very, very seductive idea for a certain demographic of people. It ain't blokes. But if you are allergic to accountability and responsibility, well, now you've got the perfect excuse. You're just going through your life a passive agent where things act upon you. If things go wrong, it's not your fault. And if things are good, well, you're still responsible for it because you're the one that manifested it. This is similar to Captain America when he said,
"Success is given. It's not earned."
Another statement I despised, but it doesn't have the same effect that it does with Rachel. With her, we've already seen her previous comments. F this guy, you should never know peace. And while it says that the actress then apologized for her opinions, she apologized for the post and said, you have a right to your opinion. She didn't apologize for what she said. She didn't take back what she said. And given that this post is an entirely different font than the original, none of this is capitalized, even the I's, whereas this one has perfect grammar, like it's been spell checked and sent through a media company. I think we can be pretty confident that this wasn't written by this person. But of course she didn't apologize to the audience. Why would you? You don't feel the need to, because they're not responsible for your career. Realizing you've pissed off your audience may make you go, I should probably do something about this, because otherwise I won't have a career. But Rachel doesn't link her career to the audience. She manifests it. She's saying what she wants into the world, and the universe, God, or whatever ultimate being there is, fate itself, gives her her career. That's who she owes her career to. She can understand why she'd think this when she was plucked out of obscurity by Steven Spielberg. For Rachel, success was
given, not earned.
That guy saw a checkbox and was like, I want that checkbox. That is going to be successful. And then she was just cast in all these other movies for checkbox reasons. She didn't earn it, didn't deserve it. And so it probably did feel like the universe just gave her things. Of course she'd asked for them. Everybody asks for success, fame, and wealth. But you only really value those if you put in a lot of work to get there. Because you remember what it was like before. The issue is,
something given has no value.
And so if you're just arbitrarily selected to be successful, it feels like the universe gave it to you. Not only do you not value it as much, but you don't link your success to the audience, and given that her films aren't successful, you can see why. That's why she was never linked to the reality that it's the audience that makes you a success, that your box office is why you're a celebrity in the first place. And without that box office, you won't stay one for long. That's why there was no real apology that apologized to the audience, saying she was wrong, she made the mistake, and that she needs to change. And I don't think Rachel will ever be able to realize that she needs to change, as long as she believes
Keep manifesting, ladies.
in that. Quite possibly one of the most toxic beliefs you can have. One where you only take responsibility for the success because you manifested it, but none of the negative consequences of your actions, because that's just the universe doing things to you. And if you don't take accountability for your problems, your mistakes where you've failed, you won't know how to fix them in the future. You'll keep repeating your mistakes, which is exactly what she's been doing. Makes a lot more sense after this clip though, doesn't it? I would have expected an actress to go, you can't have that crap in them. What are you doing? A song that manifest? Are you sure? No, it's that. That's great. I love that idea. She probably doesn't even think she's at fault for all of the problems between her and Gal Gadot. I think started as a meme, but now just seems to be reality, where Rachel is leaving Gal Gadot. Out of all her Snow White tribute thanks, Rachel's been putting out posts on Instagram where she's thanking everybody. No Gal Gadot. You know, the leading actress in the movie. No, we don't need to mention them, do we? The one I'm presenting awards with? No. I mean, this behind the set picture should tell you everything about how not to run a movie. But something that's most interesting and why the writing might be on the wall for her, it's not just that she's had to go back to theatre, but now the press are bringing up her old stories themselves. This isn't a defensive piece. She's already disliked, so any statement just makes a rod for her back and comes across as all the companies distancing themselves from her. How Rachel Zegler reportedly strained nerves at both Disney and with Steven Spielberg's partners when she started complaining that she wasn't invited to the Oscars, something I've talked about before in a previous video about Rachel Zegler's history.
Rachel not only got an invitation to watch the Oscars, she's actually going to be a presenter.
Where the more you dig into it, the worse it will get. The thing is, though, now sources have come out and spoken about it again, about how it pissed off Disney.
Does it matter?
I say like, oh, awards, do they really matter? At the end of the day, this is the story of representation, and it matters.
But refused to cut her loose after Zegler aired her grievances publicly, which meant they had to provide a ticket for her.
Dreams really can come true pretty fast, too.
Love them in the right direction.
To the point where she began working with a social media guru paid for by Disney to vet any posts before the film's March 21st bow. She was so toxic, Disney had to pay for someone to vet her posts like a child. You can't be trusted talking to people because we know you'll be too honest, because you don't associate audience opinion with your own success. You're just out here manifesting. The universe gives you everything. You don't have to care what those peasants think. The film has a dismal opening, 87 million worldwide. To put Snow White into perspective, that's $34 million less than Joker 2, but with a bigger budget by $70 million. The movie's problem wasn't just Rachel, because it was the stories and values and the complete destruction of everything the IP stood for. It was definitely a group problem if everyone had decision-making power. But a decent actress would have fought against that. You can't put things like manifesting in if they didn't agree with it. And the marketing obviously harmed the movie. People didn't even go in to give it a chance. They didn't want to take their kids because they assumed the values of the movie would be the values of the actress, who's insufferable. As it turns out, the values do seem to be the same. But when this drama has dragged on for years, you would have expected Rachel to have learnt. They tried to rehab her image multiple times, and she always goes back to it. And without somebody that grasps cause and effect, you can't fix your behavior. Without believing that you're the agent in your own life, you can't fix your behavior. You will never realize that it's those peasants you can't stand that are the reason you're a success. Because you may have been plucked for fame and fortune by Steven Spielberg, but you can't stay there without the audience. In this case, Rachel got given a chance, and Rachel is the one that burnt it, destroyed it. And it turns out, from this article, she seems to have pissed off the studios just as much as she pissed off all those little people. And before this article, I would have thought even Rachel was clever enough to realize there is a hierarchy in Hollywood, and you're at the bottom of it. Seems like the problem for Rachel is the same as a Snow White character. She needed to learn about hierarchy and who you should submit to. That maybe, just maybe, you should shut up around your betters. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe. More videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.